It started with small things, things that were easy to explain away. A TV remote left on the kitchen counter instead of the coffee table. A bedroom door that I was certain I'd closed standing slightly open when I got home. A coffee mug appearing in the sink when I could have sworn I'd left it on my desk. I lived alone, so there was nobody else to blame. Still, I assumed I was just being forgetful. Everyone misremembers things. At least, that's what I told myself. Then it got stranger. One morning I woke up and found all 4 dining room chairs pushed out from the table. Not a little, perfectly. Each chair sat exactly the same distance from the table as if someone had carefully measured them. I stared at them for several seconds. I knew I hadn't done that. I lived alone. Who would? For the first time, I checked every door and window. Everything was locked. Nothing was missing. No sign of a break-in. I tried to move on, but over the next few days, things kept changing. A picture frame on the hallway wall would be tilted slightly, then straight again the next day. Books would switch places on shelves. Kitchen cabinets I never used would be open when I got home. The worst part wasn't what was moving. It was how subtle it was. It felt deliberate, like someone wanted me to notice. One night, I decided to test it. Before going to bed, I placed a spoon in the exact center of my kitchen table. I even took a photo. The next morning, the spoon was gone. I found it upstairs, balanced on my pillow. I didn't sleep in the house that night. Instead, I stayed with a friend and ordered a security camera. The camera arrived the next day. I set it up in the living room before leaving for work. All day, I checked the app. Nothing happened. No motion alerts, no strange sounds, no intruders. When I got home, everything seemed normal, until I looked at the camera footage. At 2:17 a.m., the recording showed my living room, empty, silent. Then one of the dining room chairs moved, slowly, by itself. It scraped backward several inches. I watched the footage 3 times. There was nobody there, no shadow, no person, nothing. Just a chair moving on its own. My hands were shaking. Then I noticed something else. The chair wasn't moving away from the table. It was turning, rotating, until it faced the hallway, as if someone had sat down and was looking toward the bedrooms. I immediately skipped ahead. At 2:43 a.m., another chair turned, then another, then another. By 3:00 a.m., all 4 chairs were facing the hallway, waiting. I nearly dropped my phone. Then I noticed movement, not in the room, in the hallway. Something dark briefly passed the camera's view. Too tall, too thin, gone before I could pause the frame. That night, I didn't stay in the house. The next morning, I returned with 2 friends. Everything looked normal, except for one thing. On the kitchen table sat a piece of paper that hadn't been there before. Written in shaky handwriting were 4 words, "Thank you for noticing." My friends immediately wanted to call the police, but I already knew they wouldn't find anyone. Because while they were reading the note, I looked toward the hallway, and every single picture frame hanging on the wall had been turned around, facing the wall, as if something inside the house didn't want to be seen. I moved out 2 weeks later. The new owners only lasted a month. They never told me why they left. But when I drove past the house one evening, I noticed all 4 dining room chairs visible through the front window. They weren't facing the table. They were facing the front door, as if they were waiting for someone to come home.